Mets general manager David Stearns has revealed the truth behind the Brandon Nimmo trade that shook up a whole lot of Mets fans when the team shipped him out for Marcus Semien, and now what this means for the team going into free agency as more moves are coming for the Mets very soon from now regarding blockbuster deals, and we are going to break all this down. There's a lot to go over right now, guys, as the Mets are fully in the thick of it right now. It is known that they are trying to complete a major star deal, and let's jump right into it, guys. But real quick, before we do that, if you are part of that 69% that's not subscribed to Mets Digest, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single New York Mets update. We have videos coming out every single day that you do not want to miss out on. But with all that being said, let's jump into the video. It's what we're here to talk about at the end of the day. Because look, the Mets, they obviously surprised a whole lot of people when they would end up shipping off Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo, who's been within the Mets organization for the last 13-14 years, was a staple of the team for a very long time. Spent a decade in the orange and blue, and is one of the 11 players to ever play over 1,000 games with the Mets. Nimmo would end up getting traded to the Texas Rangers after deciding to waive his no-trade clause to go to Texas in exchange for Marcus Semien. There was a lot of people wondering if this was the right move or not, and many people questioned that why David Stearns would do this, especially considering that Semien's bat has not been the same. But all those questions did get answered by Stearns, who said today, according to Anthony DiComo, regarding shaking up the Mets core, David Stearns says that trading Brandon Nimmo was part of a recognition that what we did last year wasn't good enough, and running back the exact same group wasn't the right thing to do. Now, DiComo also mentions that trading Nimmo certainly creates a vacancy in the Mets outfield, and given that the widespread belief was that they were already planning on making a push for Kyle Tucker and or Cody Bellinger, this makes it all but certain that they will try to sign one of those two outfielders. For Tucker and Bellinger, having the big budget Mets involved in any potential bidding war has to be viewed as a positive. We know the Mets are not afraid to spend money, and they're not afraid to make major moves to set themselves up to spend money, like trading away Nimmo, leaving a hole in the outfield, and obviously eventually Carson Bench is going to be ready to go, and he'll likely be the center fielder for the Mets. I know Jet Williams is graded out as an outfielder as well sometimes, specifically regarding second center field, but he also does scream middle infield, probably second base for the team going forwards. Though right now, Marcus Semien will be the guy at second base for the Mets. Meanwhile, Brandon Nimmo heads to Texas. Nimmo had a .262 batting average last season with a .760 OPS. He's a phenomenally talented fielder as well with an excellent arm and runs the bases very well, and overall just is a great athlete. It's why he's able to play center field and really all over the outfield in general. He's not unlike a specific former MVP who can do the exact same thing. Bellinger had a .272 batting average with an .813 OPS. He is a better player than Brandon Nimmo, and he's very much the guy who'd be perfect to replace Nimmo, because at the end of the day, with Nimmo being gone now, you do have another spot open for a left-handed hitter. Now, both Bellinger and Kyle Tucker are lefties, and we do know the Mets were a little bit disappointed that the two top outfielders are left-handed hitters because of Juan Soto, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you still go for him, because Bellinger, an elite fielder with an excellent glove who won MVP and just had his best season since winning MVP, hitting 29 home runs in Yankee Stadium, and again, just doing everything right. Great base runner, gets on base really well, has an excellent arm, can play all over the outfield wherever you need him to be, and he could also play first base in a pinch as well. So when we look at Bellinger, he is someone who fits really well with the Mets now, more than ever before. And on top of that, there's also Kyle Tucker, who is better than Cody Bellinger right now. Tucker obviously had a bit of a down year with the home run specifically, but that is a mix of playing in Wrigley Field as a lefty. It's hard to hit home runs out there. And also, more importantly than that, the man was dealing with an injury. He was phenomenal in his first half of the season before ultimately being hurt threw him off and his numbers took a huge dip. It will probably affect his money a little bit in free agency, but not that much. Had an .841 OPS, a .143 OPS plus, and a .266 batting average. He also stole 25 bases. He's a good base runner. The fielding is fine. He's not going to grade out as some elite fielder, but he does have a gold glove to his name for a reason. He's not a terrible fielder by any means. Yes, he plays in right field, which means if the Mets are to sign Kyle Tucker, and I do think Bellinger is more likely than Tucker, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Mets ultimately do sign Bellinger and then the Yankees turn around and try to sign Kyle Tucker in exchange for losing Cody Bellinger. But In regards to Tucker, he would likely just move to left field in this situation, considering that he can play either one. The Mets will probably just keep Soto out and right, where we do know Juan Soto is his most comfortable, and also Soto is better than Kyle Tucker, so you kind of give him the leeway, especially with all the money that Soto's making. So that would all make sense. When we look at everything, though, there are going to be a bunch of names listed to the Mets, and fans have spoken out a whole lot on this, as we see right here. Fans are saying that their choice is Tucker, but the realistic one is probably more Bellinger, and there's a few different people saying that roster flexibility is Cody Bellinger, and Bellinger makes the most sense, though also the dream scenario is getting Tucker or trying to find a way to land Fernando Tatis Jr. in a trade. Now, the thing is, with the Mets having just made a trade, yeah, they have guys who are tradable, specifically Ronnie Mauricio and Jeff McNeil. Both look very, very, very tradable right now, and that will help. Neither is the guy who is a main package for one of the top outfielders out there, like the Byron Buxtons of the world and stuff like that, but also understanding that Kodai Senga will likely be getting moved as well. You can start to build up a package, and then also throw a couple prospects. It's not going to take Brandon Sparat, Carson Bench, Jet Williams to get one of these. Okay, it very well might, actually, but it's not going to take multiple top prospects. It would take a good prospect for sure, though. Definitely someone within the top 10. For Tatis, it's going to cost a whole lot, and then for Buxton as well, it would probably be pricey. And obviously, Tucker and Bellinger, it's a bit easier because, well, they're free agents. So that makes a lot of sense. To me, it makes the most sense for the Mets to go really hard for Cody Bellinger right now. It just adds up. Obviously, hitting 29 home runs in Yankee Stadium does make things a bit shakier compared to everywhere else. But we know the Mets have the money. We know they've liked Bellinger for a while, so it wouldn't be surprising at all to see that happen. Now, Danny Abriano did mention following the Nimmo trade. It's fair to think that all these players are now legit possibilities, whether it's Tucker, Bellinger, Duran, Buxton, or Fernando Tatis. All of them feel like very real options. We see these mock trades right here where the Mets would trade Jet Williams and Senga for Jarren Duran. And I mean, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't do that because at the end of the day, I like Jarren Duran a lot as a player. I think he's super talented, but not trading Jet Williams talented because at the end of the day, he's an above average offensive player. Don't get me wrong. Excellent base runner, has some pop in the bat to a degree at the same end, is an outstanding fielder, but with one of the best arms in baseball, but he's not worth Jet Williams. So we have to be very aware of that. Free agency makes the most sense for a team like the Mets that's wanting to spend money. Now, a lot of fans are concerned at why Stearns would trade for a guy in Marcus Semien, whose bat has been declining over the last couple of years. And Stearns said, there are some things that still contribute. There's other ways he can bring us winning baseball, but that bat may not be this point. His biggest contribution will be defensively. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding, Dave. Like, yeah, he bats at 214. We want that bat. No, that's the thing with this trade. I like the deal. It makes sense. It makes sense from a financial standpoint. It makes sense from hey, we have an elite middle infield standpoint. But at the end of the day, it also, the reason this trade was a good deal, in my opinion, is because it opens up the opportunity to give out more long-term contracts because you're not paying Nimmo till he's 38. Obviously, when Soto's 37, 38 years old in 10 years, that contract's going to be like, damn, we're paying a lot of money for a guy who's probably not going to be that good anymore. That's probably going to be the case with Cody Bellinger if he gets a 7-year deal, because Bellinger's best ability is probably his ability to defend, and he's a great athlete, and he's 30 years old, so in year 7, year 8 of that contract, a lot of money is going to be going to a guy who's not going to be the most ideal player that is getting paid that money, and might not age that well, especially dealing with the injuries that he's dealt with throughout his career. At the end of the day, the Mets need to mitigate the risk and figure out what makes the most sense, but I do expect that to be Cody Bellinger. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.